So now we're going to talk about the signs and symptoms of polio.
Okay, so the majority of individuals will not even realize that they have the polio virus because they never become sick. They never have any kind of symptoms of polio. But for those that do, there are two types. There's paralytic and non-paralytic. So if you have non-paralytic polio, it means that you still have all the same symptoms of polio, but it does not lead to paralysis. This is also known as abortive polio. So with non-paralytic polio, some of the signs include fever, vomiting, and then in severe cases, meningitis. The symptoms include a sore throat, fatigue, they'll be very tired, a headache, this back pain and stiffness, which extends to the neck, so they'll also have stiffness or pain in the neck, and then this can also occur in the legs and arms as well. Eventually this will lead to muscle weakness and tenderness. For paralytic polio, you have all these same signs and symptoms that we mentioned before for about a week, and then after about a week there's new symptoms and signs occur, such as some of the symptoms are severe muscle aches and weakness. The signs include loss of reflexes, and then something known as flaccid paralysis, which is loose and floppy limbs, which usually occurs on only one side of the body. There's also three different types of paralytic polio. There's spinal polio, which means that it affects the spinal cord, bulbar polio, which affects the brainstem, and bulbospinal polio, which affects the brainstem and the spinal cord. One of the worst parts about polio are the post-signs and symptoms. These are signs and symptoms that continue to affect a person several years after the virus leaves the body, usually about an average of 35 years. So some of the signs of this are muscle atrophy, or wasting away of the muscle, sleep-related breathing disorders such as sleep apnea. They'll also they a lot of times have a hard time remembering things or concentrating, and then they also experience mood swings. The symptoms are they have progressive muscle or joint weakness and pain. They'll feel very tired, or they become exhausted just after minimal activity. Decreased tolerance for cold temperatures, and then depression, as well as breathing or swallowing difficulty.
Now we're going to go over the transmission of polio.
So next we will talk about the transmission of polio. So the polio virus lives in the throat and intestines of an infected person. It lives only in humans, no other animals. And then it's transmitted through contact with the feces or with the stool of an infected person. This is the most common way to get the disease and the most common way for it to be spread. It can also be in a person's saliva or spread through airborne droplets. So when someone who has polio sneezes or coughs, it can be transmitted that way as well. And also, one other thing to remember is that the polio virus lives for weeks in a person's feces, causing the virus to be extremely contagious for a very long period of time. Even after the person may not have symptoms, it will still be living in the feces, causing it to still be spread.